So, all right, guys, without further ado, producer Rohan, can we get our special guest video? Oh, I see him queuing it up. All right. There. All right. I like the song. Andrew, what's up, man? Welcome to the Power Hour.
What's up, man? I love the lesson. Thank you.
Absolutely. How you doing?
How's life? I'm doing great, man.
Good, man. I mean, we're warming
up.
up.
Where are you?
Right? We're here in Detroit, Michigan. You see behind me the ice. The snow is gone.
Nice.
It's like 40 degrees. GameStop's was at $300. Life is good. What's up with you?
Life is good also. I love how enthused you are about the market. In the macro sense, the U.S. markets have melted up, and there are a lot of amazing companies out there that are doing spectacular things. The sector that we focus on, the electric vehicle infrastructure, which has a wide variety of space, is really the micro of the world. And we do the unglamorous work. And so it's fun because there's a lot of business out there. We became public last year at the kind of the middle of October. And so we're just growing and having fun and watching kind of as the market evolves.
Awesome, man. And I didn't really do a real intro, so let's do it now. But Andrew's CEO of Charge Enterprises, guys, ticker CRGE. I promised you a public company interview today, so I am delivering. I always deliver on my promises. But again, ticker CRGE, Charlie Romeo Golf Echo. But Andrew, can you tell us a little bit more about the business? What makes you guys interesting, etc.?
Yeah, I would love to. And so all this information is public, but we started in January of 2019, focused on doing the most unglamorous work in kind of the electrical revolution, which was stuff that you weren't going to be able to outsource to China per se or any other country. This is localized work from maintenance, installation, and service that goes around the entire EV ecosystem. From micromobility devices all the way up to vehicles. And so domestically speaking, we need 13 million charging stations installed just in the United States. And so there's a ton of work that needs to be done to provision all that. Today, we have approximately 100,000 stations. And so we're just going to be very busy installing and building kind of the EV revolution so that as automotive makers tout their all electric fleets, that they're actually places to charge them. So it's a huge friction point today, and it's a point that we love focusing on. So
sorry, I cut myself off there.
Still?
Yep. Sorry. So it's sort of that infrastructure behind EV. Are there any specific regions that are most? Go ahead.
Yeah. So we operate in 19 countries. We're $500 million run rate in revenue. So we have a real business. From an operational perspective, I talked about this a second ago. I believe that we're in a bit of a nuclear winter with COVID, and the stock markets have melted up a little bit, but they could melt down as easy. And so we've focused on from an operational standpoint, having a profitable operation. And being focused on providing services that people don't want to provide. And I love this space because if you think about the future, there's all this displacement coming from AI and driverless technology, but there are all these amazing jobs that can be created around the space. And so it's the pickaxes and shovels of the Wild West that we focus on.
And can you take us through the revenue model and how exactly that works? Who pays you guys? What do they pay you? What do they pay you for, etc.?
Yeah, so today we have two divisions, a communication division and an infrastructure division. In the communication division, we make a small toll every time a phone call is made through our systems. We operate in 19 countries that way. In our infrastructure division, in New York, Paris, Los Angeles, and where we tested in Atlanta, we have a series of micromobility and charging devices that people use, and we get paid a fee every time they're used to simplify it.
So is it sort of like I drive a gasoline vehicle? Is it sort of like where I go to the gas station and pay to fill up my car. That's what people do with EVs.
In the future, absolutely. In the
Okay.
future, absolutely. Today, we only have 100,000 charging stations domestically in the United States. We can't even scratch the demand because there aren't enough charging stations. But my thesis on this is in the future, yes, there are going to be millions and millions of charging ports, just like there are gasoline stations. And there are going to be people like us that own and operate them and build technology around to service them. And so the space that we play in is doing kind of all of that ancillary work. So we don't necessarily have to manufacture the charging station, but we want to provision the real estate. We want to maintain the systems and get all that ancillary revenue off of that, not just, selling a system.
So it's less of you guys are the ones who are owning and operating the charging station. You're more of like the business behind the business that does the maintenance, helps them find locations. I imagine that work along those lines.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Okay. And
now we'll
let's
own
talk.
and operate. Yep. I just want to clarify. We'll own and operate our own systems as well. But to feed this revolution, we don't be, so arrogant that we're going to own every location. We want to bring this market forward. And so, we announced something last week, which I encourage people to read. But this is about this transformation in our society to electric vehicles and who's actually doing the work of actually jumpstarting it. And so our thesis is this is the area that most people aren't focused on because it's not that glamorous. And so that's the area that we want to focus the most on because it's the hardest job to do.
Okay, and so it seems like the strategy is twofold then, right? You're helping the charging stations owned and operated by other businesses be able to operate, but then also owning them yourselves. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right.
And then let's talk about competitive landscape a little bit. How are you guys positioned? Who else is out there? Why do you think you have a best shot at this, et cetera?
I think there are going to be some unbelievable companies created around the ecosystem. I think that what's going to make us stand out is the way that we treat our employees and our stakeholders and our mission to do the right thing. But there are going to be some unbelievable companies out there. I expect we'll be the best one, but it's the first 15 minutes of the ball game. So right now, all I have to do is build best practices around how we treat people. It's on our website. I talk about something called peer. Treat everybody like a peer. Be prompt, be ethical, have empathy, and be reliable. When you work with us, that's how I'm going to be, and that's going to be the secret to our success. And because we're only 15 minutes into the evolution of EV, we need domestically 13 million stations out there. We're laser focused on providing value around that ecosystem. And so I think you'll see hopefully a lot of great companies created, and we're one of the best. But it's 15 minutes in.
Yep. And question out of the chat is a good one. It's basically asking, are you guys going to be commercial only? Will you also service retail, right? If people are building chargers into their homes, but where do you picture yourselves living in that?
Yeah, such a great question. Such a great question. It is my most exciting thing that today you buy an electric vehicle and the customer experience is an absolute disaster. It's absolute disaster. And so there's so much friction that's going to get fixed in that. I wish I could say more about it, but kudos to the question. Rest assured, we're thinking about it. And I think the future in that space, companies like us are going to pioneer removing that friction so that you have a charging station at your house. It's easy to use. It's not going to break down. You had white glove service along the ecosystem. And I encourage people to look at our recent releases around this because I'm really excited about that conversation.
Okay. And let me ask you this one: biggest challenge that's in front of you guys. You mentioned you're at a $500 million a year run rate of revenue, which is significant. I think you also mentioned that you're profitable. So it seems like there's a lot of tailwinds, but what's the biggest challenge on the horizon, the biggest thing for you guys to get through?
So one, we have to increase our margins. Two, we have to find great people and train them. This is just the beginning. This, like I keep referring to this. If this was a baseball game, we're in the top half of the first inning. We have 100,000 stations in America right now. We need 13 million. And so, like, I don't consider us that smart. But I do think that the key to our success will be ultimately how we treat our people, how we treat the communities that we serve, and the type of jobs we're trying to create. And I think that anybody who invests in us understands that our ethos is that this is stakeholder value we're creating, that we're not in a race to the bottom. We want to create, the gold standard of this infrastructure space. Look at our board announcements that we have. I think you'll see that our board is made up of an unbelievable group of people, each bringing kind of something unique to the table. And listen, we're barely 2.5 years old, and we're only public less than 6 months. So there's a lot of exciting stuff that we're doing. We went the opposite route. We didn't go the venture capital route. I have a lot to say about that, but I'm sure you don't have enough time. But any questions, keep firing away if you have any more.
Well, awesome. Let me take 2 more out of the chat, and then I'm going to ask my favorite question. Oh gosh, there's 3 more over the chat. All right. Let me take 3 more out of the chat, and you can answer them quickly. We don't want to take up your whole day here. But the first one is your team members, your employees. What fields of work do they come from? Number 2, where is R&D focus? And then number 3, can you go over where the balance sheet is at? And don't worry if I went too fast. I've got them written down. So if you want to go one by one and ask me.
I got them.
All right, cool.
Yeah, great. So from a balance sheet perspective, we're in a great place. That's all I can really say. From a staff perspective, we have a diverse staff of people, decades of experience in a couple of different domains. From a staffing perspective, I think the key to our success is our staff. And so I have a mindset of slow to hire, quick to fire, because it's a corrosive thing. People who've worked with us know that's my style. I've built a number of businesses, so I can pull my staff and relationships from other places. You'll see I just announced our CTO. Our CTO has been with me north of 10 years. And then from an R&D perspective, there's a tremendous amount of stuff coming down the pipe. I'm the guy who wants to install the first generation, rip out the first generation, reinstall the second generation, rip that out and reinstall the third, fourth, and fifth. And each time getting management fees along the way. So we don't have the same budget for R&D. My budget has to be for training the next generation of workers to get us to a $50 billion a year revenue company. And it's possible. It's right in front of us. And so we took we took the back door. We went the pink sheets and are kicking and scratching our way up. And fortunately, our R&D is spent having conversations like this and having people like yourself amplify what we're up to.
Awesome. And Andrew, a question that I always like to ask everybody who comes onto the show: if you had to name one thing you're most excited about, what would it be?
This is fun. This is awesome. Tomorrow is going to be a great day. I'm excited about everything I see. The EV space, we have to just be at the right place at the right time. So I'm just most excited about tomorrow. What are you most excited about?
All right. So I'll give you 2 answers. I'll do one EV specific answer, and then I'll do one Luke Jacobi answer. EV specific answer. Let's check this out. Background here, you maybe can see General Motors headquarters. I'm not sure how blurry my screen is, but I'm in Detroit, Michigan. I'm excited for Detroit to get behind this EV wave. I own a ton of Ford. I own a ton of GM stock. I own calls on Ford. So that's what I'm excited for in the EV space. On the Luke Jacobi side of things, I'm most excited for. All right, I'm finishing my first Russian literature that I've ever read. It's Anton Chekhov. I'm reading his full collection of short stories, every single one he's ever written. and it's really cool, but it's sort of been a slug to get through. So I'm excited to move on to the next book. So there's 2 for you.
Nice, my brother. Thank
Cool.
you. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate your time today. And, you know, we're a long-term hold and have a vision towards kind of creating great jobs and servicing our communities that we're working with, not just about, you know, grinding out and making, you know, as much profit as possible on every single thing. Some of it's long-term. So thanks for having me.
Cool. Awesome, Andrew. Thanks for joining us once again, guys. The stock ticker CRGE, Charlie Romeo Golf Echo. Andrew, have a good day.